It's so bad. What's up, everybody? I'm so bad at StreamYard. You would think after doing this is our lucky 13th episode.
Oh man.
And you would think by now I would have the buttons figured out. I do not.
Oh my god.
So that's a thing. I'm also still paranoid that even though I hit go live, that the audio isn't going to be showing up right. So I keep a YouTube window up separately. But we're here. We made it. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, James.
Happy New Year.
What is good for 25 for you, man?
Oh,
are we off to a good start?
Oh yeah, starting off strong, brother. I'm working on some backlog from 2024 still. But got a lot of stuff coming down the line real quick for 2025 this year. Right off the bat, I think it was like, was it the day after New Year's? No, it was. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, it was like last Friday. We launched Dex Daemon finally.
Dex Daemon, it's out in the wild.
Yep, Dex Daemon is available digitally right now. You check it out at crimsontitan.com. Sorry for the shameless plug.
Hey. That's what we're here for.
So yeah, I just finished that. It's live. It's on the go. We put out a little YouTube trailery thing. Just kind of cool. You know, it just gives you a little synopsis of the story if you're interested. I actually I gotta add that to the website at some point. But so yeah, starting off strong. I'm already into the next project.
Oh.
I'm working on a title called Archon's Bond, and we have already got the first comic like scripted out pretty much.
There you go.
Yeah.
Scripting it out.
Yeah.
Do you follow a pretty traditional like comic book script format?
Meaning in what way? What do you mean?
So, well, I know like for like some publishers, some publishers will go so much as like page 1, panel 1, describing the scene, describing characters, and then, or do you have a rougher form of that?
So I'm actually working with a writer on this one. I decided to kind of give up reins a little bit as far as getting it ironed out properly. I want a good story. So I'm actually working with my wife.
Yeah.
So she's I offered it to her. I'm like, hey, I know you're a great writer. I mean, she's been a great writer. She's always helped me with like all the stuff I've always worked on. And I'm like, would you be interested in taking the reins on this? I pretty much had excuse me. I pretty much had like the start of like what the concept was and like whatever. So and she was just like, yeah, I would love to, and she just kind of rolled with it. And I mean, 3 days later, and I got we've been chatting about it, and we have a script.
There you go. I like it.
So
just like that.
Yeah, just like that.
It's an interesting format to write for. But real quick, for those of you jumping in, feel free to hit that like button. Drop in the chat if you've got anything new for 25 that you're looking forward to or looking to do. We'll be talking about that tonight, plus some other stuff. James sent me a pretty cool link to a video we might dive into here in a little bit.
Rock on.
Was his name Inkwell?
Yeah, Inkwell Studios.
I've seen some of his stuff pop up as like a recommend in the feed. Yeah. And interesting character. I don't know his background much. Like it seems like he's done some major publishing work, like illustration.
Yeah, he's worked for quite a few different companies. And he's on he's done some work for the Lorcana cards.
Yeah.
The new Disney cards.
That'll do it.
So yeah, I mean he's worked for quite a few different studios as an illustrator, doing a little bit of like game stuff, and I don't know, I guess he's still got some stuff he can't even talk about yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's super cool guy. He's got a really classic digital illustrator style. Very creative dude. But yeah,
I've seen his stuff pop up, and I saw one video. I was just curious. it got recommended on my feed about like how much he makes per show, what the actual cost of being an artist is. And
Yeah.
some of the numbers he throws out, it's like I've heard of people selling
Yeah.
that much at shows. I have not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, this guy's got to have a built-in following or something. Because to give you guys an idea, the one video, and we're gonna jump around as we naturally do for your friends.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but like the one video, he's like, I made 18 grand at this show, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I've never made 18 grand at a show.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I think 3 is a good show for me. Like it's yeah.
Yeah, well, and that was once I started consistently hitting around 3. And I'm not going to dive deep into numbers here tonight, just because people don't. I think unless you're in the business and you understand how quickly that money goes,
Mhm.
3 grand in a weekend. So I was like, that's amazing, and it is. That's a lot of money.
Mhm.
At the same time, the booth for the next show cost $800. The hotel for that weekend cost a few $100.
Mhm.
You figure taxes got to come out. All this stuff. It's like, Dave, I do appreciate that, brother. It's actually, what was it? I think Baltimore last year was one of the first shows that I've had in a while where I felt a little famous.
That's awesome.
I had a few people on Friday that had come up specifically to find me, and a few of them had found me through Kickstarter. Like they'd never met me in person before, but they had backed different projects or whatever. That was super cool. I don't know that I ever want to be super famous.
You say that. Once you're in it, you're like, yeah, this is where it's at.
I like being able to function autonomously, just be able to do my thing, you know. And I see some of these guys. Have you ever been across from like a David Finch or somebody like that at a show?
No, man. No.
I've been across from Jim Lee, David Finch, you name it, tons of big names, right?
Oh wow.
And it's not because they're like, Steve would be right up there next to Jim Lee. Yeah, let's put him by Jim. No, it's just like he happened to be across from me, right? And you just see how much people. I don't know a better phrase than I heard this one a long time ago. I've never seen people swing from someone's nuts so hard. I heard somebody say that along. It's like, yeah, everyone's gonna be swinging from your nuts. I'm like, yeah, this probably just made this a non-family friendly show, but
we just got bumped a rating.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm like watching these guys come in, like they can't even like get to their table, without having like a flock of geese following them.
Oh my god!
And they've earned it. I mean, they put in the time. They're legends in their own regards. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
don't. You know what? It's very interesting. I mean, what percentage, like when you're an artist, what percentage do you think that it's just people wanting to get stuff signed so they could sell versus people who actually care about your work and want to talk to you about your work? I've actually never sat and like listened to other people when I'm like, when I want to meet an artist or whatever, and it's very rare that I do.
Yeah,
just because of how busy we usually are at a show, unless the show's dead. But yeah, I'm interested to see that how often is it people care about your work, or is it just they want a signature and they want to go on eBay and sell it?
I think it's a mix. I think even the people that are collecting the signature because they're a fan, in the back of their mind, like they're thinking, yeah, and if one day I want to sell this, now it's worth more.
Right.
I don't know how much more it's going to be worth. Some of these guys, I've heard that folks like Liefeld will charge extra for certain issues for like first appearances because they know that once they sign that book, if they put it up, go get it slabbed and you put it on eBay, then it goes to the roof. And there's two schools of thought there. One is if you charge more for that signature, then that makes it more likely the person's going to keep it for themselves because they actually appreciate it. The second school of thought is, well, I know you're going to make bank. I should be getting some money too because
Yeah.
I'm the guy that drew that book.
Yeah. Liefeld's
So-
an interesting character.
I like the guy for a lot of reasons. I know there's a lot of people that hate him for different reasons,
Yeah.
but I don't know. When I was a kid and I would see his books, you could just tell that dude was excited to draw shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have respect for him in the sense that he helped change the game a little bit. I mean, he's part of that crew, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, there's some things that, you know, maybe he talks about certain things that maybe he shouldn't or whatever, and some people don't like him because he says things about things that, you know, he's very outspoken about certain things. But at the end of the day, I mean, the dude makes bank. He makes bank, and he doesn't have any problems.
Nope. Not that I'm
Making,
aware of.
making more. So
Yeah.
I think I just saw the original pages from Deadpool just sold for close to 900 ish. Maybe I'm a little off. Maybe it was more like
Wow.
maybe it was like 5-6, but yeah, it was like it was a couple $100K. So at least
Wow.
yeah, it was crazy. wasn't quite as like the Jim Lee
Dude, it's tough.
X-Men pieces that went for like a freaking $2 million or whatever the heck it was.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So when he was set up across from me in Denver, he had some of his family and like some of his reps were there Friday to get stuff set up for him. He
Mhm.
didn't show up till Saturday. So I think it was Friday before things kicked off. I went over there and I was talking to some of them, and they had his portfolio, same portfolio that like you can buy at Michael's that we use to show off our prints.
Yeah.
He's got that with originals in it.
Ooh, wow.
Originals.
That's
I'm leafing through. I want to say the cheapest thing I saw in there was like $8,000. I could be mistaken. You know, there might have been like some like napkin sketches that were like a couple thousand.
yeah.
But like as far as pinup drawings is like different characters and stuff. I think it started at like 8, and there were pieces in there that were covers for different things that were like 40, 60, 70,000.
Wow.
And then you see these kids walk up with their grubby little mitts, and they're like full arm, like flinging the pages. I'm like, where are your parents?
That's a $20,000 piece of art you're just touching there, buddy. That's funny.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if it was family or who, but there was a gal over there that she is definitely a good saleswoman.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm looking through, I think it might have been his mom or something. Maybe I don't know. Sweetest little lady, and she's like, I'm looking through, and she's like, that's a really good one. You should look at getting that one. I'm like, if I make $12,000 this weekend, that would be amazing. And she's like, we can defer payments. I'm like, yeah, it's taking a car payment for a piece of art. Why not?
That's funny.
Granted, like if you buy it for 12 and you have it all authenticated, and that dude kicks the bucket.
Oh yeah, yeah, it'll be worth it.
How much do you think that would go for? $12,000. Let's just say it's a Batman. Just maybe not anything that was ever published, but like maybe it was like a promo poster or something. $12,000. You think 60? Think you get 60 for something like that?
Probably something like that. Yeah. Something. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And
I don't even know.
That's the thing, man. There's people that are finding me now. And Dave, I really do appreciate the compliment, bud. I didn't mean to do that. I wonder if there's people that find me early on thinking like, maybe this guy will get big, and I'll get in early when he's selling this crap for $80 and I'll sell it for, and they're like, and when he dies, when Steve finally dies, I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Thing is, like, I know you talk to a lot of folks that are in our shoes, right? That are doing our own comics, and you're trying to pick up extra work, cover work, you name it. A lot of people want to go work for Marvel, want to go work for DC, you name them. I'm not exactly chomping at the bit to go do that. I want to do my own thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, so I think I think the greatest maybe truth, maybe lie that we are kind of, whether it's we teach ourselves or other people have taught us, is that if you get into Marvel, DC, Image, that you get into these three and you get your name on a couple of things, that you're all of a sudden going to be this hot shot, that your work that you wanted to do by yourself now becomes 12 times more valuable.
No.
I don't think that's entirely true.
No.
But I do think that because of the audience for those are so big, it does automatically put you in front of a ton more people.
Yes, it does.
Whether or not that they're looking at the credits of the piece, I think really relies up to you, your art style, and is it something that's interesting and different? Because there are some artists, I buy comics once in a while, and I flip through and I look, and if I don't think that it looks different than anything else that I'm reading, and there's nothing very valuably interesting about it that's different than some of the other guys that are doing interior pages, I'm not gonna go look at the credits, right?
Right.
So I think there's a lot involved in that, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot to that. there's a lot to unfold there for sure.
Again, there was another video that was suggested to me, and I've got it pulled up in a tab. So it's like I don't know which direction we're going to go tonight, but there's one. Let's see. It's are you familiar with Proco? You know Proco.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they had a video that came out about a year ago that says, "Is your portfolio good enough to get you hired at Marvel?" Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Have you heard about this?
Yeah, is that the one where it's the actual Marvel editor talking? Yeah. I watched that.
Yeah, so it's interesting. You know what? This is just going to be a wandering conversation tonight. The original topic was going to be like, "What's new for 25?" It's like, forget that. We'll get around to it.
Yeah, we'll get there.
See, Steve, I like getting your stuff and showing it off. I have around 20. Yes, you do, man. Yeah, and you did pick up a ton of books that last drop, man.
That's
I
awesome.
do have that extra large format, like director's cut of Slaughter Dolls 1. I'll have to get it to you. I think I've got 2 of those left. So, and it's down in the workshop. So I got 1 of those left for you, bud. And then once that's out, I think I'm keeping that last one in the vault. And then that's going to be it. But yeah, dude, I really appreciate the support, and I got so much new stuff for this year. So
awesome
I'll talk about that at some point tonight. Sorry, what's up?
I said, awesome dude, Dave. Awesome dude.
Yeah, Dave's a good dude, man. He I think I met him at C2E2, I think. He's out in the Chicago area. And I'm hoping to God. I've been playing the email game back and forth with a rep from C2E2.
Yeah.
Have you been the one? You know about that one?
No.
So
no, I think it's a little bit far from me.
It's I think it's definitely worth it though if you can get in. It's just so hard. Everyone talks about New York, San Diego, MegaCon, C2E2, man. Like people talk about like Chicago Comic Cons. The Fan Expo there is really good, but the C2E2, I forget what it stands for. It's Comics something Entertainment Expo, Comics and something with another C. Hence the C2E2. Dude, it's 23. That's right. Because I was there with Clan McDonald Comics. I was guest spotting. You're gonna make me poor. I appreciate the support, man. Don't go in debt over me, dude. But at the same time, I got more stuff to buy this year. I appreciate it though, dude. I really do.
Takes credit.
Yeah, I can defer payments, right?
Yeah, defer payments.
Yeah. Get Jim Lee's mom to work for me. I don't know if that was his mom or not. Sweet little lady.
Who knows, man?
But yeah, C2E2 is such a good show, and that tends to be one where they have like different reps from Marvel or DC doing portfolio reviews.
Oh, nice.
But you got to jump on those appointments early. Like if you don't have that booked, you can't wander in Saturday and be like, hey, will someone look at my stuff? It's not going to happen.
Yeesh.
They usually spend like at a minimum like half an hour with you, usually up to an hour or more, depending on how much feedback and how interested they are.
That's cool.
So yeah,
I'm ready for that.
dude, there was one guy at Denver that he came to my booth like early on the first day. It was on a Thursday because it was a 4-day show. And heavy accent. Turns out he's from Italy. He flew into the States. Like he's going to do some sightseeing when he was there, but he specifically came for the portfolio review with Marvel. And I think he had it was on Friday or something. So he had all day Thursday to walk around. And he had his portfolio with him. And you could tell that there was a lot of passion there. At the same time, like all the fundamentals were not there.
Yeah.
You could tell that he really loved putting in the details. He loved like making like these really elaborate shots, but like this one here, you can see like there's perspective, there's anatomy, there's dynamic, there's flow, there's color balance.
Mm-hmm.
And it just wasn't there with this guy. And that's a hard place to be with somebody when you're trying to tell them like, hey man, this may not be for you right now.
Yeah.
But a buddy of mine that was there, he had an appointment. He was the last guy like on the docket for the day for, I think it was Saturday. And then Marvel was done with appointments for I think for the weekend at that point. And his portfolio review got pushed way back. Come to find out, and this is cool. The reason I'm telling this story is because the editor from Marvel spent extra time with this guy because of the passion that he had, because he flew in from Italy. That normally, like, you know, if you live in Chicago and you go to the Chicago show and it's like, okay, kid, like, need to work on the basics.
Yeah.
Take some classes. Like, no, this dude, like, he spent apparently, I think close to like hour and a half, 2 hours with this guy.
Oh, wow.
Just going over, giving him notes. Here's what to work on. Here's where you can go to. So it's cool that, you know, in a world like today where everyone's in such a hurry.
Yeah.
They took the time.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really awesome.
Oh, geez. I don't know what I have on my website. I need to do an overhaul, man. That's
yeah.
Talk about new for 25.
I just did that a little bit ago, and that was quite an undertaking. I had to redo my whole inventory from scratch.
Really?
Yeah, it was just really like everything. The way I had everything was mucked up, and like kind of metal prints were separate from the paper prints, and it was just kind of like overly convoluted. And yeah, I just want to make it easy for people to be like, oh, hey, I want to get a metal version of that. Cool. Click. Boom.
But what shops are you using? Are you using like a Squarespace, or using like Etsy, or?
I use WooCommerce, built on WordPress. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. I also I do my own hosting and all that stuff. I host other people's websites. I built my website. I built the Crimson Titan website. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Building websites.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I had mine kind of divvied up between like the acrylic prints and this style of prints and that style of prints. And I came to the conclusion, I'm like, they all just need to be there with the drop downs for, do you want it to be metal? Do you want it to be acrylic?
That's what I just did too. Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, I'll get to it when I get to it. But at any rate, I'm not going to watch this whole thing with you guys here tonight. Just kind of want to go over some of the talking points that he has. You said you did watch this, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I watched probably most of it.
Break the panel border down. The action is if that. And
it kind of goes over like the things not to have in your portfolio. Like if you want to get on the naughty list fast, these panel breaks. I didn't realize how much this irritates readers, like people who read tons of comics. Do you do a lot of panel breaks with your stuff?
No, not anymore. I got told not to.
Yeah, I want to say I don't think I have issue 1 over here. But issue 1 Slaughter Dolls, I know I had some, if not quite a few. And I forget, I was watching someone did a critique of another comic book, and they brought up how confusing it can be, and if it doesn't lead you exactly where your eye needs to go, then it's confusing as hell.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's all about the flow of the page, right? Yeah.
What's funny though is, so Proco has another Marvel video where they're talking about like the different classes that they've got,
Mhm.
and they have like every page that they put up has a panel break. So, like in this one, he's talking about like, you know, for certain characters it makes sense, or the storytelling it makes sense, but it
Yeah.
should always go down into the panel it's supposed to feed into.
Yeah.
So here it kind of works, except I think it should technically be going down this way down to the left.
That might be why they added the weird texture on the briefcase, which is weird, but
so that's an interesting one
Probably about
for all of those in the
once
audience that are
every
looking to
issue.
go work for Marvel.
If that, and if you break a panel
Let's
border,
see.
break the panel border
Where's number
down.
2?
The action is supposed to move from
Where's
left to right,
chapters here?
top to
There we
bottom.
go.
Okay.
I'm guilty on this
Do
one.
not blacken your gutters.
me too.
Guilty.
Yeah. But I did mine intentionally. I
So
don't
did
I
I.
don't know why. I don't know. This
Well, you're doing
this
like
is one of those
the
one of
noir
those
deal.
moments. Yeah, this is one of those moments where it's like I think if it's used in good taste, it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm curious. I kind of want to go back into the project file and drop in white gutters, but like for Dark Side, well, all my books right now, I'm just using black.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it makes it look more, I don't know, cinematic's the right word.
Yeah, I think when you blacken your gutters, it gives your pages a more grittier look almost.
Yeah.
And now not every comic's gonna want to have that. You're not gonna want to do that at every comic. If you have like a girl singing pop songs in the daylight, maybe you don't need the blackened gutters, but
Right.
yeah, no.
This is from Sugar Pop versus Zombie Tramp. Very well illustrated book. This is, in my opinion, of all the books I got from last year, this is the best illustrated book.
Yeah, it's cool.
And you can see like having those white gutters, even though she's like doing the what do you call that? Not the punch through, but like the she's crossing over panels.
Yeah. Breaking the borders. Yeah.
There you go. Like having those white lines in there does kind of help. Like for a page like this, where it's spanning over 2 pages, I think you almost have to do that.
Yeah.
It just takes extra work, especially digitally, getting everything nice and clean.
Yeah.
But yeah, he I was watching this. I'm like, yeah, guilty. Because his comment, as a lot of people do it, because it's easier and it's a cop out. Like, guilty as charged.
Yeah.
Don't crop out the tough elements, hands, feet.
Yeah.
Which that's one of those things.
Artists do.
What's that?
Which many artists do.
Oh yeah. Finch had a good point on this though, because he admits that there's a lot of times when he's drawing like a commission for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
He made the joke. Did you ever hear him say this? He's like, "Feet are where the rocks go." There's always a little rock covering the feet.
That's funny.
Who was he sketching? It doesn't matter. He was sketching out the character, and he's like, number one, upshots are more interesting, and it's really hard to draw feet in an upshot.
Yeah,
you got to be down below them. He said, 2, if you're putting them on rocks, if you're putting them on like a gargoyle, like it's Batman or something, it makes it more interesting, kind of gets them into a setting.
Yeah.
And 3, he's like, typically when people pay for a commission, they want to see the character's face and their logo. That's what they want to see. Or if they like use energy or weapons, I don't care about their boots. Typically.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you ever have someone at a show ask you like what you need to do to be a professional artist, like what you need to do to get into stuff, or or ask for feedback on their artwork?
I've gotten the feedback. Usually though, people are just like, I'm an artist too. Here's my work. I'm like, oh, very, very nice. Very nice. I mean, if you don't ask for critiques, I'm not going to give you a critique.
Right.
Because I think that's when, in those types of situations, you're like, you're here to show me your work, even though I'm on this side of the table, which is weird. But I'll be polite to a degree, right? But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that don't know what they're asking for when they're asking for a critique.
Yeah.
A critique by nature is meant to be critical. So I could start off by saying, this looks like you're passionate about drawing, and it's all in all, it's an interesting piece. At the same time, A, B, C, D, E are all wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
I started doing this thing, and he kind of talks about it here at the end of this point. I don't know the rules about YouTube, like how much I can play a video before it's a problem. Couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But he brings up a point. He says, chances are, what you don't like to draw and what you're not good at drawing. You need to learn how to draw it.
Yeah.
So you may not have to draw a horse every time you draw a comic book, but the one time you do, and it's a predominant shot, you better be able to nail it.
Yeah. You don't want to be at the end of a deadline and having to learn how to draw this character.
So I started doing this thing, and it actually makes the critiquing or even just giving feedback easier.
Mm-hmm.
What's the number one thing you need to work on? Like if you go home and sit down and actually crack the book open and get good, what is it? And I've had people tell me everything under the sun, from things like horses and animals to I can't draw girls, I can't draw guys, I can't draw this, I can't draw that. It's like, okay. Yeah. So I'm not going to sit here and play whack-a-mole and try to tell you all the things that I think you need to work on.
Yeah.
You know what you need to work on.
Yeah. It not always true. It's not always true. I've come across some people's portfolio where they think they have something down very well, and you could tell that maybe not, buddy. Maybe you need to take a look at this. Maybe you need to practice a little better. I hate to say this, and there are in very, 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 very few instances where I could say, that I've followed people for several years to see like their progress and stuff. And there are in some very few instances, like one or two out of hundreds, where it's well, I can see that you appreciate and you'd like to draw, but I would say you haven't gotten very far on your journey. I would not consider giving up your day job.
No.
Which is a harsh truth. Like if somebody told me that, I think I would personally be devastated. No. It is a little hard. It is a little hard to hear in some instances, but sometimes some people have to hear that from somebody at some point because it's rough.
Yeah. There's some guys in the business that have gotten names for being the tough guy all the time. And I think they've got the mentality that like if you don't get smacked down, you're not gonna have the resilience to get back up.
Some people need it.
Some people need it.
Some people need it. Some people need that rough approach, especially nowadays. There's so many kids that don't get that. You know what I mean? And everybody's looking to pander to each other because of this whole like cancel culture thing we have going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, people aren't getting that wake up like, oh, wow. Thank you for that. Even though I hate you right now.
I hate you, but thank you.
I hate you.
Have you ever had it's usually like a parent and kid combo. They're like, check out what my son or daughter drew on their phone.
Yes. Often. Very often. I had a couple approach me.
Been amazed by that. But like, wow, I can't believe you did this.
There was one time. There was one person And I'm like, you should be on this side of the table. What's going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, I had one instance where it was interesting because the parent, I guess they do vending at shows, not
Yeah.
necessarily as an artist, but like exhibitor stuff. And he's like, yeah, well, we're going to New York City Comic Con, and I'm letting my daughter have half a table. And I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
a lot of money to just throw away for, I mean, I get it. It's great that you're supporting her, but
Yeah.
do you think that she's ready at that point, right? Like New York
Yeah.
City's a big show. To be like, that's going to be her first show to be in. I mean, I
Maybe
guess
try a
throw her in the
local
fire.
deal. Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
but
Yeah.
that could make or break somebody.
Yeah. But yeah, if her stuff is that good.
Yeah. I mean, I hope she did well, and I hope it didn't become overwhelming for her, but I mean, she was only like, she was like 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I've only ever once, anytime that someone prefaces with, yeah, I just drew this on my phone. And it's like, am I gonna pretend to be impressed? Like, am I I'm usually like happy to see people's artwork, but
Yeah.
if you're asking me to validate, I can't in good faith be like, yeah, you could probably go get a job from Marvel with your iPhone app.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, there's been one time in the last 3 years of doing this full time, young gal, again, she's probably the same age, like 12, 13, 14, somewhere in there. And I'm looking at these things. It's all anime style, but it's like, it's good. It's really good. I'm like, so did you use like a reference? And she's like, no, I use construction method. I start with a circle, and then I'm like, oh, she actually knows. She actually knows.
Yeah.
So I just looked this was more for her mom. I'm like, get her an iPad. Do you know what you want for Christmas? Get her an iPad.
Yeah.
I don't care if you have to put it on a credit card and pay it off for the next year. Like, you're drawing on something this big. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're telling me you want to be a pro artist. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. At any rate, don't crop out your tough elements is the moral of the story there. What else we got?
Full circle.
Yeah. Using reference. I love the freeze frames. We're doing this guy a flattering job of referencing his video. So as far as using reference goes, how do you use reference? How do you use reference?
We can have a whole entire show about this.
No.
Oh, Dave, have a good one, man. Dave's
See you, Dave. Thanks for hanging out, brother.
Yep. Thanks, Ben. So for reference, yes, I use reference. I usually try not to stick completely to the reference.
Right.
I mean, there are some instances where it's like, okay, well, there's not really much else I could do here. Let me adjust this. It's a different character. But yeah, I do my best work when I'm looking at reference. In fact, I'm planning on getting this giant pegboard to put up on my wall so that I have tons of references to look at any time. That always irks me when I have to spend 20 minutes looking for a good reference. No, I think using reference makes a difference. I mean, once you've been once you've been drawing professionally 10, 20 years, you won't really need it. But I think when you're starting off, it's better to have a reference and then not screw it up. And then versus, just come up with it on your own and then, have all sorts of issues that you're not noticing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the challenge with like when you walk down Artist Alley is you have different levels of how much people are leaning on their references. And when I say leaning, sometimes it's literally tracing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag. When I use reference, it's typically I want to see what a muscle group is supposed to look like if it's under stress in a certain position, which is a really hard reference to find.
Yep.
You know, you're trying to find like bodybuilders that are like 0% body fat and posing in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard to find. So yeah, I don't know. Most of the time I just lean on construction. It's like once you kind of learn some of the basics of flow, you can get away with a lot. And if you follow that, was it the McFarlane rule of cool? It's like you can get away with a lot.
Yeah.
Now you start doing like cars and buildings, and he talks about that in here too, with like the cars and buildings and stuff. And we'll play this at the risk of getting booted from YouTube for life.
No good. Go out and look at what a building really looks like, especially when you're drawing Marvel comics. You're going to draw New York City. There's water towers, there's window panes, there's ledges, there's gargoyles, there's all kinds of things that go into the architecture of buildings to make it feel like New York. And New York is a character in Marvel books, so that's very important. So do not hesitate to use reference. But if you are using reference and you're going to Google image search, do not take the first image on the first page of the search. Look for something that fits in and that you could use, and don't trace it. Please use it as a reference. That's why it's called reference. It's there for you to refer to, not to copy. So
when it comes to buildings and stuff, sometimes I'll use reference. Sometimes I kind of BS it in the background, like I'll digitally paint it in and kind of blur it out. There is a new app. I've considered trying it out. However, I don't know if it's going to make my life any easier or just more, I don't know, too in the weeds. I think it's called Feather app, something like that. Feather 3D, something like that. But it's a drawing tool that you can draw your own 3D spaces, and it looks hand drawn. So if you know, like, your character is going to be routinely going back to the headquarters or their secret lair, you could, in theory, draw the whole secret lair in 3D, black and white, and then color it in, and then drop that in as your backgrounds for different panels. I think that's really cool. I think that's probably the best way to use like a 3D asset.
Yeah.
But you start thinking about that. It's like if you use that for every background, it's going to take a minute.
Yeah, right. I mean, you would want to do that for like, you know, major scenes that you're going to be revisiting over and over again, maybe. But yeah, that could be tough. I don't know I don't know what's the what's the word I'm looking for? The
return on investment.
Yeah, right. The return on investment. Like, how long does it take to figure it out and do it versus, you know, what's the payoff?
No. Well, and it's I was watching because I'm trying to get into 3D modeling, and there's this random video where, especially for movies and cartoons, they routinely have to break their 3D model to get the shot to look right. So like if Sonic is reaching towards you with something, like for me to draw this in person, that's super easy. And then even though the perspective might not be right, if you're going to do it with a 3D model, well, it's a tangible thing in space. So if it doesn't look right, you literally have to like break Sonic's arm and stretch it to get the.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where, like with comic books in particular, because you want to exaggerate stuff. I don't know. I want to get to mess with it, but I also don't want to pay the money to mess with it, you know?
Yeah.
But what else this guy got to say? Consistency. That is one he talks about. Like, he especially looks to see like if faces change a lot from shot to shot or page to page. Proportions, if they change a lot, that's a tough one.
Yeah, you don't want every panel on your page to have the same perspective, and for the characters and the things inside the panels to be the same size either, because it doesn't make for a very interesting read through.
No. Yeah, unfortunately. So for those of you that use or have ever seen this, I'll hold up the camera now. Well, you guys are gonna be able to see. They make the blue line paper that has like the little grid marks on it, and that sort of thing. don't know if anyone in our audience has drawn or seen paper like that. But it naturally starts to make you want to follow those grid lines and make nice, perfect horizontal lines, perfect vertical lines. And this is I started working on Dark Side 2. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see this at all. Let me hide this real quick.
There you go.
So there's a scene here. There's like a guard looking down into like this pit. This is actually like a life pod that they're in. They rescued these guys. So there's this like stormtrooper looking guy looking down in. This shot was originally vertical, and the whole reason it was vertical is because of the grid. It's just when you're storyboarding it out, it's just like this makes the most sense. And then you look at it, and it's like that would be more exciting at an angle, which means more perspective work, which means more line work. And even the bottom one was another horizontal shot that I ended up putting on an angle.
Oh,
it's
nice.
Like, takes a little bit more time.
Yeah, looking good so far, boss.
Thank you. That's about. So we were talking about pencils before. That's about how detailed I get with pencils. Like I don't go through and crosshatch.
Yeah, that's good.
So I don't know.
I can eat that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty scratchy. And I think you saw that like on a nice high res scan, you'd be like, "Is this an arm? Is that a belt? Is that a holster? Is that a?" Yeah. And sometimes I get to them like, "Is that an arm? Is that a belt? Is that a holster?"
Well, it's bad when you're tripping yourself up.
Yeah, I've actually like last couple of days before we get to this one, I've actually been doing a lot more just sketchbook practice. I've gotten away from it. Do you draw in a sketchbook like for practice on a regular basis, or you just kind of get to work on what you got to work on?
I use the sketchbook as a tool to draw what I'm about to draw.
Gotcha.
That makes
like
sense.
thumbnail it, that kind of thing.
Yeah. But I've been really enjoying the tan paper. I really like the tan paper.
What do they call that? Like the mid-tone?
Yeah. Because it's so cool. Because then you can kind of like very easily and quickly pick out like the highlights and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
kind of nice in that retrospect. It's a lot easier to do.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Dude, I sat next to a dude that his whole booth was mid-tone paper like that. And he was doing like really super realistic pencil sketches with that little pop of the white highlight.
Oh, nice.
Dude was making bank all weekend.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt it.
Yeah. I've been playing around more with just as far as consistency goes, like getting faces consistent and that sort of thing. Because I feel like so many times I'm in such a hurry to like produce that I'm trying to remember in my head what the character is supposed to look like. And what I found is if you just draw them 1,000 times, you know what they're supposed to look like.
Yeah. So
there's been a lot of practice for that lately.
Yeah, I had that problem when I first started out with Dex. I was in such a hurry that I didn't really have I had an idea what I wanted the character to look like. I had drawn like this really bad, like, quick, like here's the front, here's the side view. And then like as I kept going through, I wasn't referencing my original image as much. And like he kind of like obviously this is the first rendition, but he kind of like kept changing his like look, a little bit here and there, whether it was like the cheeks were a little bit higher, lower, whatever. And finally I was like, after drawing him like 50 times, I'm like, okay, this is the new way I'm drawing him. Then I had to go back and like fix the layout. But
it's weird how that works, man. It's one of those things where in my mind, like especially with Slaughter Dolls being the first book that I did, I kind of wish that I would have spent like 5 years just drawing them before I committed to a book. But I'm like, I've also learned so much just by doing the book.
Yeah.
And doing another book. And then doing another book. So
right.
Yeah. There was some other fantastic point I was going to make, but it's gone. It's gone. fine line between
Because
inspiration
every
and
artist, every
imitation.
comic book artist has artists that you love. Other comics,
Who's your biggest inspiration, or like that's influenced you the most with your style?
It used to be Jim Lee. Was like my numero uno influence. However, I've gotten quite distant from that, it seems. Now I'd say Dave Finch, Ken Lashley, a little bit of Brett Booth. He's kind of a newer one. I've been studying him a little bit. But yeah, like those guys. There's a couple other guys I can't think of their names right now, but yeah, I would say those three are probably the top three now. Jim Lee's like kind of in there still, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I've transitioned away from like doing stuff his style.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Just I guess I've outgrown it.
Yeah, there's a different energy to how a Jim Lee draws versus a David Finch.
Yeah.
And Finch is a very precise machine.
Yeah.
Like every line he throws, it's like a meticulous. I don't know the way he does it versus Jim Lee, where there's much more energy, scratchy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Early on for me, definitely Eastman. Like when I was a kid, I didn't have the Turtle comics, but like the artwork on the boxes was all like Eastman and Laird stuff.
Yeah.
And I just always thought they looked so cool, And then classical artist Gustave Doré. You familiar with Doré? Have I told you about Doré?
I am not. No, I've not heard that.
Let's see if I can pull something up here real quick. Again, as a kid, my grandma had this book, and it's called the Doré Bible. This dude, he was a call it like during the time of the printing press. He went from doing mostly painting to doing fine line art so they could actually put it on the printing press, right? Let me see if I can share a different screen here. Gustave Doré. This dude is nuts. All this line work. So he did, this is he did his version of the Bible, but every single page is like this. Like it looks like the most horrific. Like if you didn't know any better, you'd be like, there's like a necromancer back here, like raising the dead,
Yeah. Wow.
But as a kid, I'm like, even the sky are all just these little lines.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, how do you do this? So I got kind of obsessed with mimicking how he does what he does. Here's the crazy part. You ready for the plot twist? So he goes in and he does all this with ink. The unsung hero, and I should know this guy's name by now because I've referenced him many times. They had another artist that had to effectively trace all these lines to silver etch it into the print press panels.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
So
That's
this
insane.
Yo, what's up, Jay? What's happening, brother?
What's up?
Yeah, this dude, this Gustave Doré, man, like, I don't know. Everything that he's done is nothing short of impressive. And I've done some like homage pieces.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can share this one too. Why is this on Etsy? I suppose it is like a public domain thing at this point. Very weird thing to share this one here. So this is an illustration he did for Dante's Paradise. So he has like it's for Dante's Inferno, but this is when he's looking into paradise.
Whoa.
And yeah, all those are little angels that he's drawn. A lot of them just by omitting. Like this one I've got the cursor on right here. That's
crazy.
That's just he inked around the wings to make it look like this angel's glowing.
Yeah, wow.
Absolutely insane.
Whoa.
Yeah. I did an homage piece to this, and even then I'm like, this dude's still way more detailed than I am.
Yeah.
I use the tissue paper and ink trick to do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything, like, look at this, even up here. Or there's nothing up here, but yep, there's still tons of lines, and it turns out there's little figures in there too.
Huh.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
So yeah, that was like my as a kid, call it like 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
Seeing his stuff, I'm like, you know this was possible. Didn't even know you could do this. Insane.
Yeah. Wow.
And
Almost unthinkable.
yeah, the closest thing I could find to it in comics, everyone went the Todd McFarlane route. I went more the Mark Silvestri route with Bat. Familiar with Bat and all them? Yeah.
Mark is awesome.
Let me see if I can find a I got into the darkness back in the day. Let's see if we can find a good.
Dude, the darkness is sweet.
Dude, like the amount of detail at the time. Again, it was just like I was used to, like I had a lot of older comics where Spider-Man still looks like he's, could be on the wrestling team kind of thing. Let's share this. Maybe I should have blown that up first. Like all those little details, all those little cross hatching. Now, this has become way more normal over time to have this level of detail. But again, when I'm like 14, 15.
Yeah,
like,
right. It's impressive. You're like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I bought the Batman and Joker Deadly Duo Unplugged edition because it's just like his raw inks or whatever. It's sweet, dude. It's super sweet. Stands alone without colors.
Yeah, and that's was that which one was that?
It was Batman and Joker, the Deadly Duo, #1. It was called, I think it was called Unplugged. I think it was called. It was just literally just like his pencils and inks. That's it.
I might have got the same thing.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Yeah, there's some that I prefer looking at the original line art, but
yeah.
So let's see. So he talks about this. We're, for those of you jumping in now, if you could, while you're hanging out, hit that like button. We're watching an editor. My gosh, CB Cebulski, I think is his name. Probably pronouncing that wrong. Sorry,
CB
buddy.
Cebulski.
Glad I pronounced that right.
Cebulski.
He's given his feedback as to what makes for pitfalls to watch out for. And one of the things he talks about here is you should know who your influences are, because he's going to ask you. And he's going to bring up, like, if you don't give him enough feedback, he's going to be like, I can see your influence. And it's this person, this person, this person. And you're absolutely copying them.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like maybe you're flying too close to the sun with some of your influences?
I don't know. No. Yeah, no. Because I still try to, even if I'm sticking to a pose or a character that I'm drawing, I still add what I consider what I would consider my style to it.
Yeah.
So no, I would say I say no. I just call it a homage, right? And then it's like, after such and such.
Yeah.
If I'm too close, right? And then
yeah. Especially if I'm doing like certain poses, like especially if it's like a cover. Like I did a Rogue pinup that was based off of one of J. Scott Campbell's Danger Girls cover.
Oh, nice.
And it's like, it's obvious it's the same pose, but completely different though, right? But still on the corner after Campbell.
Yeah.
I had one piece that I actually quit selling because I didn't realize it was kind of happenstance. Maybe I had seen it before and it just got in my head. But I had a Wonder Woman that was pretty spot on David Finch Wonder Woman, where she's posing with a sword kind of coming at you.
Oh, yeah.
And once I saw it, I'm like, yeah, we're not selling that at shows anymore. I don't even know if I still have it on my website. If I do, I need to take it down because I'm like, it's a little too close. It looks more like Linda Carter,
Yeah,
but in the Finch pose.
I got you. That's cool.
I don't think anyone would have an issue with it, but
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I think I've consciously tried, as far as like the girls go, tried to not be too similar to J. Scott Campbell, just because everybody and their brother has J. Scott as an influence.
Yeah.
Um,
True that.
and there's a couple artists who will remain nameless that I think the main reason they've gotten popular is because they draw just like J. Scott. But they don't charge J. Scott money.
Yeah, of course.
So it's like, I don't know. I don't want to be that guy. Let's see. So I think that's kind of the end. This is all motivational speech at the end here. Look at that motivational look. Maybe I should actually play the videos.
You can check it out if you want to.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one of the things that does irritate me about some YouTube channels is that they'll play the whole video. So if you're here in the audience and you're watching, you're not gonna go watch it again. You know?
Yeah, right.
So you're kind of stealing views.
Right.
Yeah. At any rate. So what while I'm getting something else loaded up here, so for 25, what's your big angle for 25? You said you're working on a new book. You've already got the first thing you're working on pretty much written.
Yep.
What else big do you have?
Archon's Bond, that is high priority on the list. I am I'm gonna, keep grinding with the convention game a little bit. I don't think I've added anything new yet this year. I may. I may change it up
adding
as far as conventions.
Okay.
But really it's gonna be, I'm just gonna be trying to work on projects, getting these projects out, kickstarting them, getting that together. Like I plan on pretty much having the entire first issue of Archon's Bond penciled, at least, maybe even as far as inked before I even start like the Kickstarter, because then it's like less stress on the back end of the Kickstarter. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing that, and then getting my social reach out there a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look into some different like solutions, like driving people, to different social sites. So I kind of getting a better strategy together for 2025 than just posting and hoping and praying and somebody likes my content.
That's
so
tough, man.
It's a lot of work, but
yeah. Well, and I actually so as much as we crap on like AI and everything, I did talk to ChatGPT the other night. Maybe it was Grok, one of the two.
Yeah.
But I said, why is Steve Messenger shadow banned on Instagram?
Nice. What did
it gave me some interesting feedback. It said that it says while Instagram and Facebook and Meta claim that they do not shadow ban, there are possibly some things that will get you throttled. Like, we're talking the same thing here. But it's all the things that you would expect if you're overusing hashtags, if you're posting too much, if you're not posting enough. There's just lots of stuff that will bury you.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've been kind of paying a little bit more attention to the Meta Business Suite and like what it's telling me I should be doing to get to like a rising creator. And I'm like doing those things, trying to do those things, like getting at least close to getting to where it's like done. And it hasn't changed a damn thing for me. So yeah, I don't know what it is, man. It's you post too much, you post too little, your content's not interesting enough. It doesn't grab people's attention, or it's there's 1,000 different answers, but at the end of the day, it's like I had the same two people, 90% of my posts, the same one person that comments on all this stuff. Thank you, dude. I appreciate you. But you know what I mean? It's tough. It's a game, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah. I did hit that rising creator status or whatever with Facebook.
Oh, nice.
I don't know, maybe a year ago.
Hmm.
You know what I got out of it? Nothing.
Nothing.
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
I don't know. I feel like Facebook in particular does a lot of carrot dangling. It's like, oh, you know, this posted this well, you know, do you want to advertise it? Like, not really.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Threads is a new part of that too, which is interesting because it's like, okay, how many social platforms you want us to be on, and like, you know, to get further with you, it's kind of, there's almost like a weird, like, are we trying to be a monopoly in social media? Like, what's happening here? Because now they're like, okay, we want you to post X threads, do 4 stories,
Yeah.
5 posts, and it's like, that's a lot of effing content, dude. Like, don't get me wrong, I think I could probably do a little bit better, but holy moly, man, let's pump the brakes a little bit. I will say,
every time a new one comes out, it's like,
right,
you'll see people gravitate towards it.
Yeah.
And then you check in a few months later and no one's using it.
Yep. And I mean, Twitter, dude, I don't know what Twitter is anymore, or X, if you want to call it that now. I get absolutely, I've been pushing my stuff, zero content interaction at all. It almost seems like X has become just a speaking platform for Elon Musk. I mean, I like the guy, don't get me wrong. I think he's trying to do good things. Maybe he's not got his personal life in order, but maybe he's a little bit of a robot, whatever, but
alien.
Yeah, or something, man. I don't know, but it just seems like that's the only thing that pops up on my X feed is his posts, and I'm like, okay, sure. And then
I feel like it's just a site for people to go be angry. Just go start crap for no reason.
Maybe, I think, and yeah, and you see, I'm seeing now a lot of people, a lot of the stars and yada yada are going to Blue Sky, but the problem I have with Blue Sky is these people are very clearly political leaning in one direction, and that may or may not be my style, but it's just very outspoken there. So it's like almost become the same thing as X in certain aspects. They think that they're being friendlier, but no, they're really not. They're just being extra backhanded-y. It's just, I don't know, man. It's a shot in the dark. I figure out where we're supposed to land, and you can't be on it. Being on any like actual art platforms isn't really going to help you much because, like, you know, you go
they've all gone sideways, man.
DeviantArt, and like DeviantArt is full of AI art now, and so is and like,
dude, everything is so full of.
Yeah,
Instagram has gotten terrible.
And ArtStation, I get constant emails about fake. Sorry about fake job alerts and stuff. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's
yep.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. I was watching someone. They were talking about the YouTube is starting to get overrun with it too. People making algorithm-based AI videos.
Yep.
And everyone loves the sensational America's Got Talent videos, where it's like, you know, child star surprises, melts the hearts of the judges and all this stuff. So they're making these like, I need to just find one. Have you seen these?
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's laughable how bad they are, but they get hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I also have a feeling because of all this AI generated content that's coming out, and people are like mass producing all over the place because they want to make an extra dollar. It's desensitizing a lot of people to social media in a way. Like,
Oh yeah.
like I hate opening my social media because it's that's like all I see almost in some instances. It's like just these like fake stories that are made up, or these like, they're making up a story over top of some Minecraft video. It's crazy. It's so much.
It's bad, man.
Yep.
It's I don't know. Of all the things that people talk about, like what AI is going to do this and AI is going to do that, and it's like mostly it's just kind of ruining everything. It's making
Mhm.
everything super lame, and
Yes. The only thing that I do think is, I still think that we have the benefit of the doubt of like our profession is going to be a little bit more appreciated just because of how much of that garbage there is out there.
yeah, I don't know. It's oh god. Okay. I'm gonna share this.
Go
So
for it.
this channel is relatively new. It's called
Oh,
Top Talents, and this is the whole thing, is that they work the algorithm, and it's almost borderline offensive what they've done here.
Oh God.
So I'm not offended because I've got a heart of steel, but cold hard steel. But let's see here. Is the audio coming through?
Well, my name
I
is
can't hear anything on
Isa.
my side.
I'm
Oh
5
my God.
years old and I'm from
Yeah.
Senegal.
So they have
My parents loved me
spliced
so
in
much, but
all this
I
America's
lost
Got
them in
Talent
the
stuff.
war when we were trying to escape
bad,
from
man.
Ukraine. Now I feel very
It
alone,
is so bad.
but I want to sing a song for them to tell them how much I
If
miss
anything's
them
going to
and
get me
how
struck,
much
it's
I
probably going to
love
be
them.
playing this. But this kid talks for a few minutes,
Yeah.
and then they have an AI generated song that he sings.
Oh my gosh.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
That is awful.
Oh,
Oh
so
my
the next
God,
time that
that's
you're
awful.
sitting there working for hours on a page, just think.
Just think I could be making money making these stupid videos.
I mean,
Oh my God, dude. Oh wow.
AI generation to hack the AI algorithm. That's like playing with your imaginary friend for likes.
That's
Dude.
funny. It's true.
There's the other one is there's guys that are they're getting like their girlfriend or whatever to get fed into an AI model. So it's been like studies their face from every angle, and it studies like they're having these, and of course they'll doll them up using AI.
Yeah.
And there's fake people living way better lives than I'll ever live in Instagram. Like, it used to be bad enough that there were like influencers that, make a living off of posting stuff. They're living a better life than I'll ever live.
Yeah.
Like money, if
Yeah,
that's
now
better.
it's fake people. Oh my God, that's even worse.
It's wild, dude.
I would have never even thought of that. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the chat, Joshua. Thanks for hanging out, man.
Hey, how's it going, Josh?
So yeah, I don't know, with AI lately, not to go down another rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I spent this whole evening, like, we barely talked about what we're doing in 25. That's fine. There's a video that got suggested, and I was contemplating showing it, but it's like, I don't have anything positive to say about it. So why, like, I don't want to start internet beef with someone I've never met.
Oh man.
But the guy's he's a tattoo artist, and he's showing you how to use Grok to give you the prompt that you want for the image that you want, so you can print it out and tattoo it. So it used to be like you had to kind of know how to type like the prompt that you want.
Yeah.
So like if you want a gal wearing like a Native American headdress with like a tiger stripes coming off of it, you'd have to figure out how to type all that. What he's doing is he's taking an image, he's dropping it into Grok, saying, what would I have to type into Midjourney to prompt an image like this? And it spits it out. He then takes it over to Midjourney. He pops it in there, and Midjourney, I don't know if you've ever seen that, but they give you like 4 squares.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen Midjourney. Yeah.
And then he just drills down till he gets one that he likes. And he's like, save all kinds of time with your clients. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Oh no, I don't like. I wouldn't approve of it.
Yeah. Nope. I wouldn't want that garbage on me. Tattoo that garbage on me. No, thank you. Woof.
Challenge with tattooing, though, is that, I mean, you know how long it takes you to draw something new, right?
Yeah.
Now imagine you're a tattoo artist. You're charging $100 an hour. Maybe it's like a $200 minimum. Like, how long is it going to take you to draw that tattoo and then tattoo it?
Yeah.
Like, people, I don't know. Drawing the tattoo is like the worst part, right? Because you're trying to capture what's in the person's head.
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot of tattoo artists, because I've done a lot of tattoo conventions, that they have tons of clip art, right? Sometimes they'll pay for it, sometimes they'll find it other ways. But then they will photo batch it together in like Procreate or Photoshop, and then that's what they use for their stencil. And they're not necessarily really drawing any of it.
Yeah.
If anything, they might be drawing in, like, if there's like a design around it, like smoke, or like a banner at the bottom that says, you know, whatever, Rachel. And you got to cross out Rachel later after Rachel's no longer in your life. So it's like, I don't know. Previously, you weren't necessarily getting a unique piece. At least with Midjourney, you'd be getting something unique.
Yeah, I guess. Something unique. I don't know. Might not make sense, but yeah.
I'm doing my first tattoo show in a while. I'm doing it this weekend. I got to leave first thing tomorrow morning. I got to wake up at 4 tomorrow.
Oh man.
4 to drive to Minneapolis.
Oh wow.
About 12 hours. And I have a feeling it was it last year? It was 2 years ago. There was a guy that was sort of the talk of the show, because his booth, he was like openly advertising that he was doing AI tattoos. And I mean, they look neat. He did a good job with them. But most people are like, man, if you don't do that. AI is bad. I've got a feeling there's going to be a different attitude at this show.
Yeah.
I have a feeling a lot more people are going to be doing it.
Yeah, maybe, man. I don't know.
We'll
That'd be
see.
interesting. I'd like to hear. I want to hear about it next week.
Oh, here's the part with this particular artist that posts on this video on YouTube. So I was looking through a couple of his videos just to see, like, what does he draw? Like, how does he do what he does prior to AI? Right. So I'm going back through, and I was watching another one of his videos, and he holds up this drawing that again looks amazing. And he's like, I drew this morning. So clients coming in, I'm like, you drew it this morning? Like, I know how long it takes me to do this, right?
Yeah.
Just to do this. And this is like thinking and planning and everything else.
Yeah.
I haven't even put ink on the paper yet.
Yeah. You get decision fatigue after that.
I'm like, this guy did that in a couple hours. Like, he's really good. And I believe it, that there's people that can do that. Jim Lee, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how many Jim Lees are running tattoo shops, but someone in the comments asked him, like, hey, did you use an AI program to do that? And he answered in the comments. He said, yes. Like, so why in the video did you say that you drew it?
Yeah. See, people are still ashamed of using AI. They're like, otherwise, why would you pretend you drew something you didn't draw? Yeah, dude. It's just I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess all we can do is educate people on the ways of why it's bad. But that's
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what we do with all this information other than, like, apparently America's Got Talent videos are huge.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to get into that business, make some sweet side money to fund the main career.
Yeah.
4 million views on that.
Let's do it.
The thumbnail photo is the truly offensive photo. I'm almost should I show this?
Oh God.
Because it was already bad enough, like the kid in the video, like it was
Yeah.
already like a caricature. It was already bad. We'll show you guys here.
Oh man.
Like the fact that no one was like, this is what you used AI to do.
Right?
Like this is what you picked.
My goodness.
This is the video right here. In the yellow shirt that's all torn up. We've got Simon Cowell hugging with a tear going down his eye, big blue tear.
Oh my God.
Like, how much
Yikes.
more ridiculous?
1.3 million views, 4.1 million views.
Yep. So yeah, the one that we were just looking at is the 4 million view one.
Yeah, wow.
That photo, like, you're using starving kids in another country. You're not even like directly using them. You're using the image of them to
Yeah,
get
dude.
paid.
You better be. Yeah. That's next level warped if you think about
How
it.
much of your soul have you sold?
Yeah, dude. Wow. Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I bet you, you know what, you'd feel better about it if they made like it was a cat singing on stage, you know, videos or something like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's just wrong on so many levels.
Well, apparently, so the idea is they want to plug into what's popping on the algorithm.
Yeah.
So it's not about being outlandish; it's about what are people
Oh,
clicking
yeah.
on. So the other one,
Right.
I don't know if you've seen this show up on your feed, because I watched one video. This was all I would get on my feed as like suggested videos for
Mhm.
like probably about a month. Was animals being rescued that have been stuck in something.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
you can't help but stop
Seen
and see,
those.
like they're gonna save the cat, right?
yeah.
Cat stuck
Yeah.
in a pipe, looks pretty stuck. What are we gonna do? You gotta watch. Well, the next
Yeah.
thing you know, that's all you're getting in your feed is animals stuck in stuff.
Yep. Yeah, the new one that I've been seeing a lot of, at least on TikTok, is the fake stories about how someone rescued a reindeer or a bear, and now they show up at their house and they feed them.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
probably there's probably one of those that's true, but
Yep.
then they like, you know, they're using all these fake images. Some of them are AI, some of them are from other clips, and you could tell like there's no consistency to the images and the pictures they're using. The
No.
bear is 1,200 feet in one image, and then he's 5 feet in the next image. It
No.
doesn't make any sense, and it's
Just
like
splice
that's
it all together.
yeah, right, and yeah, they put it up there, but people watch it. I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, people are doing whatever they can to trip the algorithm. So when we're talking about like what we do and why it doesn't work, this is why.
Yeah,
You're not trying to get that pop in the algorithm.
yeah. Facebook claims
Mm.
that 2025 they're going to be changing the algorithm to be for more creatives. We'll see if that's true. We'll see what that means even.
So talking about 2025, now that we can actually start talking about what the point of this whole video was supposed to be, is
Yes.
what are we doing for 2025?
What's going on?
I'm tempted to just be done pushing Facebook and Instagram. Like I'll post. Don't get me wrong, but as far as what I'm going to advertise, like the flyers that I hand out at shows, excuse me, I think I'm going to open up an eBay shop.
Ah, very nice, very nice.
I think that's what I'm going to do. I
thinking about
was
switching to Etsy.
there. What's up?
I was thinking about switching to Etsy. So that's funny. We're kind of in a similar wavelength.
Yeah, it's like when you have your own website, it's great and all that. You've got a spot to put your stuff, but it doesn't get natural traffic unless you're known enough that people are Googling you, right?
Right.
There's a few comic artists that I follow that everything goes on eBay, even if they're just selling a comic book. They'll sell that comic book on eBay. Like they'll do a Kickstarter or whatever first.
Yeah.
But after that, eBay. And the reason being, there's a natural market built in there if people not Google, they search for,
Comic
comics in the style of, Jack Kirby or whatever.
Yeah.
You can put all those hashtags in there, and if you start getting enough hits, like you'll start showing up in the algorithm more.
Yeah.
The problem with, like, obviously they've got their fees. I forget what it is. I think it's like 12% or something that they take. Like by the time
Yeah.
you're done with credit card and everything else.
Etsy's expensive, and then I don't.
Etsy too.
And then I'm sorry, Etsy, eBay fees are expensive, and then on to top it off, because I used to sell on eBay too, not my work, but
Yeah.
like comics and stuff, and their fees are outrageous, and then you have to pay your PayPal fees on top of it. So you're losing whatever eBay is charging plus the almost 3% that you're losing for PayPal fees, plus the 30 or 40 cents per transaction.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. The trade-off is that you're paying potentially for that built-in market that's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's that. The other bit is maybe instead of putting focus on, I was surprised how many people clicked on my website. Like I was looking at the last month, the amount of people that clicked on it.
Mhm.
Like, holy crap. Like there's a few hundred people that actually went to my website and
wow.
didn't buy anything. Like,
Yeah. Dude.
so it's like, maybe I need to just start putting like blogs on there and posts on there. And then I don't have to pay anybody anything other than when I pay for the site subscription.
Right.
So
That would be ideal, right? That's the hope behind our having our own websites, is people will go there and buy things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm in the same boat. Absolutely zero sales through the website. I could barely get people to go there to look at my $2.50 digital comic.
No.
It's funny, man. It's funny.
Well, and the challenge is like with an Etsy or even some of those different sites, like if you do anything fan art, like they'll boot you.
Yeah.
Like potentially.
Yeah.
So there is that. I've got a buddy that everything he does is either public domain or his own creations. And he was doing Amazon. And I guess the deal with Amazon, talking about like staying in good graces, is that with Amazon in particular, you have to have a shipping label, I believe, within 24 hours. So like if you're doing a show and during the show you get 10 orders on Amazon, like that night before you go to bed, like you have to go about and punch in all the stuff, and like it's just another thing to do. But that's like passive income. Kind of.
Yeah.
But
That's kind of my goal for 2025 is right with the comic and stuff, is to establish my own characters, establish that so that I can rely less on fan art.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to end up 5 years down the line being known as a fan artist. I would like to be, James Sketch the Beast. That guy does some great characters. Oh, he created so and so. He created so and so. That's what I want to be known for. He's got that comic book out. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, he did that piece with that other group, right? That's my overall
goal. Yep. Yeah. There are some artists out there that they whether they intended it to be this way or not, were blessed with having their own very unique style that is widely captivating.
Yeah.
And like I've got a buddy that does dark art. Do I have his? No, they're downstairs. I bought he did a Kickstarter recently, did like a deck of cards. And all of his stuff. You familiar with Tool, the band?
Yeah.
Like their artwork that they do?
Yeah.
His stuff looks like it would be perfect for either a Tool album or like a death metal album.
Nice.
It's all abstract horror, oil paintings.
That's cool.
And like everybody stops at his booth. It's just like, look at all this. It's amazing. People buy it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Old Dougie. Shadow Myth Art. Go check him out. His stuff's amazing. Super nice guy too. He's got a story behind all of his artwork.
That's cool.
But it's like, if you're in the comic world and you're trying to do comics, it's really hard at a Comic-Con to get people to latch on to new idea, new thing.
Yeah.
Unless you've got, you're already established as like, oh, you worked for Marvel for 10 years and now you're doing your own thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's the tough part. Yeah, is being that salesman for your character or your comic or whatever.
Yeah.
Standing out in some way. But yeah. That's the goal for 2025 for me. Actually, the other thing that I'm looking to divest a little bit of time into is doing a little bit more like concept painterly style, digital concept painting, basically. So that's something I might start touching on a little bit in 2025. Because I think, I don't know, I've always had an eye for like liking that style of art.
Yeah.
And I don't know for what reason I chose comics.
But when you're trying to find work, it's like,
yeah. I mean, right. The more diverse you can be, right, the more you can be available to others. I've always had that I've always had the desire to do that. So like painting in some way. And I think if I can merge that like concept-y style with like comic style, and not necessarily in like an art germ way, but like, I don't know, something a little bit different, I think I might be able to find something that's a little more in tune to like what I want my style to be as I go through my
career. Are you talking about like that Metal Gear style, or something like a lot of ink washes and that kind of thing?
Yeah, maybe I don't know. It's something I gotta mess with. There's a lot of artists out there that kind of do like the concept art style stuff.
Yeah.
Dominic Glover is almost kind of like what I'm talking about a little bit, where he's got the concept art style, and then he's got like he merges the comic with it a little bit.
Right.
And then there's a couple other artists, like actually that Inkwell guy. He's like purely concept art, right?
Yeah.
But like it's like very fantasy and whatever else. So yeah, trying to hone in on that a little bit, I think, is something I'm looking forward to doing in 2025. We'll see if I have time for that after these books come out, because I got, like I said earlier, Archon's Bond coming out. I'm gonna be working on that one probably the next week. I'll be starting the thumbnails. Well, I shouldn't say thumbnails. I got to work on character design first. But once I nail down those characters, and then we are doing Dex Damon #1. It's going to be a one and done book. Minus the anthology part of it.
Right.
But yeah, it'll be one and done.
One shot.
I'm hoping to have that done this year too as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's the thought process behind just doing a one shot?
That was kind of the writer's decision. Mostly. I think he's like, I'll leave it open for like if we want to do more beyond that, or we can do like a prologue. But I kind of agree in the same sense that it's I think it would just be kind of cool to have a book you can read in one sitting and then have a story that you've read and be done with it. You don't have to look. You don't have to look forward to the next week,
right? Because
you've read the whole story. You've got the idea. Maybe it leaves you with questions, and you want to get those questions answered, and then hopefully, a year or two down the line, there's enough interest at that point, we could be like, oh, all right, well, let's do this. Let's do a different series. It's in the same universe or whatever. But I think we are in an age where there's tons of universes. There's tons of universes. If you really wanted to divulge into a universe, you could do that. But it might be nice to take a break and read something different,
Yeah, it's hard, man. It really is like ordering a pizza for a party. Like I get so much feedback at shows, and I think what it boils down to. So I've had people tell me like, I just want a really good classic superhero story where the protagonist is like a likable, like a Captain America, before he went and had problems and challenges, and like someone that you can be virtuous and be a good role model. I want that kind of figure. And then you get the next person. It's like, I want a dark, gritty, like noir, this, that, the other. And then the next person's like, I'm done with superheroes. They're over. I've seen too many movies. It's like, I feel like you just got to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like you're gonna be trying to guess what people want. Good luck.
Right. I think if you do something that you like, and you draw it, and hopefully at the end of the day, there are other people that like the same thing, right? Or something in the same vein of that, right? So
Yep.
Yeah.
I like to reference in a conversation like this the Insane Clown Posse. There's really no reason why this should work. The music, especially the early music, is pretty rough.
Yeah.
No offense to ICP, but like, it's campy. It's its own like borderline cult. Some would say it is a cult.
Yeah.
I've never been to one of their gatherings, but you hear all kinds of stories. But the thing is, they're into it. They bought into what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're on board with it.
Right.
And they're moving forward, and they're bringing other people with them. And it's like, that's the kind of energy you got to have. Are they going to be the biggest band ever? No. But are there cars in every state that have the Hatchet Man logo on the back? Probably. I've never been to every state, but I'd have to imagine.
Yeah, likely.
And they bought out Faygo, man. Faygo soda. That's their thing.
Get out of here. Really?
Yeah, you never heard
I
that?
had no idea. No, I had no idea. That's funny as hell.
So apparently, like, I think they're Detroit based as well. Faygo soda. They would do this thing because it was so cheap. They would go buy like pallet loads of 2 liters and cans, and they take them to shows, and they would spray Faygo out in the audience, right? And it became like this thing. Like, if you go to an ICP show, you're gonna leave sticky one way or the other. Yeah, super disgusting, right? I have no desire to go experience that.
No, thank you.
Not even a fly on the wall, because like you're also in danger too. But apparently they got to the point where they had done so much brand integration, whether they wanted it or not, with Faygo. They got to the point where they could afford to buy it. So
Oh my
I
god,
think that's true. I could be wrong.
that's funny, dude. I had no idea.
But yeah, and then they've got their own brand and label, and when they tour, they've got, you name it, their choice of artists that they bring with them that are all under their label that all kind of do the same thing. And people eat it up, man. They found their audience.
That's cool. Good for them.
It's a lot of commitment putting on that clown paint every day, but
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they don't have to do it every day.
I think at a certain point, it's like, do you just leave it on and go to bed in it?
It's just tattooed on their face.
I mean, Alice Cooper, like, his eyes are so dark from having that makeup on for so long.
Oh yeah, it's like stained.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So for me, for 25, I've talked about it several times before about the different things I've got going on. In fact, I just posted on Instagram. Since we're in the confines of the YouTube live chat that I'm sure no one will ever talk about, secret safe here, right? Is I am
Chat stays in chat.
Yeah, right. I've been playing around with style for comics. Alice in Slaughterland is coming out in March. That is a cartoony style. And that's partly because I wanted to play with a cartoony style. I've always kind of had one I never really used. I wanted to do something different. But that is going to feed into a card game that I'm working on. And let's see if I can pull this up real quick. Do a little quick share here while we're chatting. Is I wanted to get the style down before I committed to this card game that I'm working on. Simply because, can I just share this? Or do I have to? All right, give me a quick second. I gotta move some tabs around. Apparently, I can't share a picture I pulled up. I have to share the whole screen.
Oh,
And
weird.
I've got crap all over the place. Entire screen, share. There we go.
Boom.
So I really wanted to play around with this, with Alice in Slaughterland first before I jumped into doing a bunch of cards. But we just ordered the prototype deck for these, and I already know I got to change a bunch of stuff. Like, as I'm sending the order, I'm like, I already have a list of what I have to do. But we're gonna be play testing this. A lot of the art's got to get cleaned up. It's very just thumbtacked on there. But that's gonna be coming down the road.
Back on, dude.
Josh, as an art style alone, or is Alice in Slaughterland integrating into the card game? Alice is going to be its own standalone thing. It's probably going to be like a 3-part story. It's going to be my guess. I'm actually like halfway through coloring it now, like final colors. I've already got everything flatted. I just have to go in and color. But I've thought about making card games for other stuff too. So, excuse me, that'll be coming down the pike.
Hell yeah, dude.
I also got Whatnot coming up next week. It's my Whatnot sale. First time doing it.
Welcome aboard the Whatnot crew, man. I got my Whatnot show tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do you have a link that you can drop in the chat if people want to?
Yes. Give me 1 sec.
Actually, I might be able to pull up on here. So at any rate, you know what, you do it because I'm talking through my thing and I can't walk and shoot bubble gum.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. I got it.
So yeah, the Alice is going to be its own thing. It's going to launch in March. I don't think I'm going to do any guest artists for covers. Number one, because they're kind of up against the wall on this one, running out of time. I'm going to do the covers in a few different styles, so there's some options. Might also be launching a trading card portion to that Kickstarter. I don't want to lump too much stuff in there because I'm already putting Black Kitty preview on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some options for those covers. But with Black Kitty, when I was penciling that, I went slightly more stylized art. Like, it still has more of my feel to how, like, I draw the superheroes, but like especially the portraits, slightly more animated looking. Not nearly as much as like what you just saw.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try to find stuff right now. It's I got a stack next to me. That's
Nice.
It's like layers of strata of stuff I've got in the works and has been done. I just can't do anything with it yet. Within the next bit is I might embrace that style even more going into the next issue of Slaughter Dolls. I've been with the sketchbook stuff. I've been playing around with. We'll leak some characters here. So there's some new characters coming. I was just playing around with doing more cartoony style, but like going even more like
Nice.
cartoony.
Yeah, it's not too far off.
So it's not too far of a departure.
Yeah.
In fact, there's probably some panels. I was playing around with paint pens, but like paint pens were a little too bright. But just going just a little bit more cartoony with them. So we'll see. I don't know.
Dude. Yeah, it wouldn't let me post my link, so
No, not in the
blocked
what
me.
you do in the chat.
Nah.
Spamming
Yep.
people.
Yep. Spam.
So guys, if you have Whatnot, number one, if you don't have Whatnot, get Whatnot. It's a cool place to like buy artwork and comics and stuff. But tomorrow, what time tomorrow?
Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah. So I don't know that I'll be able to jump on. So I'll be setting up for
You're gonna be setting up.
we'll see. We will see. I'm already exhausted thinking about tomorrow.
It's not a problem, man. I will have other shows.
Yeah.
It's not my first. It's not my last.
Yeah. So guys, jump on there, and then next Tuesday at 7, I'm gonna have my first. Oh, there it is. Showed up in the private chat. Let me see if I can put it in there.
Yeah, maybe it'll let you.
Copy link, paste. Oh, this is for everybody in the
Paste it in
studio.
private chat.
I am so bad at all of this comments. Yeah, next Tuesday I've got a ton of original art that I'm going to be selling. Yeah, there we go. Let's pin that.
Nice. Perfect.
I don't think I can pin it here. At any rate, I have so much original art, guys. Like this, I've had about a month off of no shows, and I've just been drawing as much as I possibly can. So I'm gonna have a ton of new prints this year. Lots of stuff to check out. I've got most of Alice in Slaughterland done, and then I started penciling just because I wanted to do it. Started penciling Darkside because that's gonna launch probably more like May or June. But if I'm gonna get it penciled, inked, and colored, gotta start now. So,
Oh yeah, dude.
other than that, man, like 25, it's get the books out. I kind of want to get like the Dark Side trilogy done, and I kind of want to get Alice in Slaughterland done, like all of it, so I can just do Slaughter Dolls moving forward. Like that's been my most successful stuff. And talk about like finding your audience. It's like, yeah, I think I just want to lean into it.
That's awesome. Hell yeah, dude. Here's to 2025 being our best year.
2025. Well, guys, I think I'm going to call it because I do need to get a few things done before I hit the sack. I got to be up at 4 in the morning.
Crazy.
No one's making me do it. I could probably leave later if I wanted to. I just don't like the stress of trying to get in late.
Yeah.
But guys, thanks so much for hanging out in the chat.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
James, where do you want to direct people to? I know sketching the beast everywhere, but like, what's your number one thing you're pushing?
Number one thing I'm pushing. Oh geez, I don't even know right now. I'm in a weird transition, but yeah, check out that Whatnot. The link there, it's whatnot.com/sketch of the beast.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll be doing tomorrow night. I'll be working on original pieces. I have my last 15 or 20 so of my exclusive Scooby cover for my art book, and some other commissions I'll be doing. So yeah, pop in, say hello. You know, just hang out if you want to. Nobody has to buy anything. You're not obligated to. If you just want to hang out, just hang out. And yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right, fellas. I'm gonna roll. Thanks for hanging out. See you, Josh.
Peace out, guys.
See you, Jay. See you guys. Have a good night. Happy New Year. Peace.